Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today we're going to talk about the bi generation from the Giggle. And was it actually a stroke of genius from Russell T Davies? Was he preparing for every eventuality that he could? And was he trying to satisfy several different parts of the Doctor Who fandom? Because the way I look at it, this occurred to me just yesterday, actually. I was thinking about it. And the bi-generation, the Doctor splitting into two Doctors who were both the Doctor, could actually be a stroke of genius. Because it gives different parts of the fandom what they want. You have the people who just want to see more Doctor Who. They have their Doctor going off to see another adventure. You have the ones who are going to see... A lot of this comes down to headcanon. A lot of this is going to come down to how people individually want to headcanon the Giggle and the events that are going to happen after the Giggle. Now, the way I look at it is both of them are still the Doctor. The Doctor, like an amoeba, just split in two. They're both equally the Doctor, with equally having two TARDISes. But for some people who consider JLBWHO to be the proper Doctor and the 14th Doctor to be more like the Meta-Crisis Doctor, more like an offshoot of the Doctor, a clone of the Doctor, somehow not really the Doctor, but kind of the Doctor, you know, they will still be following their Doctor on new adventures, on who they consider to be the Doctor, on the new adventures starting with Season 1, with JLBWHO as the 15th incarnation of the Doctor. But the interesting thing is, the part of the fandom, especially like older fans, fans of Classic Who, or just fans of the modern series, people who haven't liked the way the show is going, who are almost sad to see it going on, continuing at this point, that think it's a zombie of its former self, and are just ready for the show to stop. You know, there are people out there who would probably rather the show just end than it continuing to just get worse and worse and worse. The interesting thing is they get that ending here. The Giggle is a perfect stepping off point for Doctor Who. While the Giggle and the Church of Ruby Road or whatever is a good stepping on point for fans, the Giggle is also a good stepping off point. If people are tired of the way the show is going, if they're not happy with how the show is going, this is a good exit point because the Doctor gets an ending. The Doctor gets a proper retirement. I mean, you could look at it, because I'm sure some people are going to look at it as the opposite of what we just talked about, where the 14th Doctor is the proper Doctor, and the 15th Doctor is like a clone, or a child, or an offshoot, or a duplicate, some form of duplicate, doppelganger, mimic, something like that, and is not properly the Doctor. That's, you know, the show is going to be following now. Meanwhile, their real Doctor in 14 is basically retiring, almost stepping into the shoes of the curator here. They actually get their ending, because with this happening that way, if you want, again, this is all down to how you want to headcanon it. I personally think they're both actually the Doctor. The Doctor was one person that just became two. So I think they're both properly the Doctor. But if your headcanon is 14 as your Doctor, you're getting your happy ending with him. You're getting your stepping off point. Because you couldn't really have done something like that, without the show ending, honestly, where he just stops. And it's all right for the Doctor to want to stop. People would probably argue, well, it doesn't make sense for the Doctor to stop. He's always been about traveling and seeing the stars and seeing the universe. That's what the Doctor's always wanted to do. Long before he became the hero of the universe saving lives, he just wanted to explore and see the universe. You know, Patrick Troughton and William Hartnell are really big on just seeing it. Pertwee, too, mentions that in the Colony in Space. I don't want to control the universe. I just want to see it. But, you know, at some point, you get tired, you get burned out, you want to settle. I talked about this in another video about it's the difference between being 21 and full in life and wanting to see everything and being like 47 and kind of tired, worn down, wanting to put roots somewhere, raise a family, etc. You know, he probably wants a break, a breather. And then maybe after the burnout, he'll go explore some more. He does still have his TARDIS. He can still get out. We know from the ending of the Giggle, he does still occasionally take trips. And it's really easy to see that maybe it's the 14th Doctor, a future version of him that later becomes the curator. Again, in semi-retirement, watching over the museum, revisiting yet another old face. This could be where he first learned he could do that. Regenerating into the face of 10 again, where he might learn, hey, I can become old faces. So he shifts back into Tom Baker's face at some point. So the interesting thing here, and why I think the bi-generation is a neat concept, is because you can actually please several different parts of the fandom. For the people who are really excited for JLBWHO and really excited for the new direction the show is taking, you have your Doctor and you have your new adventures coming. For people who were more ready for the show to take a rest, who were kind of wanting to turn off their TV. You know, several people down in my comments have mentioned that they're kind of just done with Doctor Who now. The Giggle is an excellent stepping off point. You get your ending story. You get the Doctor retiring, taking a break, relaxing, putting down roots and having a family. So this could really be Russell T Davies making an attempt to please two very different aspects of the fandom. So if you want to watch the new adventures of JLBWHO, it's there for you. It's coming. It's a great starting point for new fans. But if Doctor Who is just not your Doctor Who anymore, if it doesn't feel like Doctor Who, if you need a break, like the 14th Doctor from Doctor Who, this is your chance to step away. You got your ending kind of for your your Doctor. You got your ending. You can take a break, relax, stop watching, pop in your Underwater Menace animation, pop in your collection box sets, pop in your DVDs, and you can revisit all of Doctor Who from season 1, An Unearthly Child, or maybe the Daleks these days, all the way through the Giggle, and you can have your complete Doctor Who if you like. And I just thought that was pretty neat to me, that the bi-generation kind of solves both of those problems. That if you do want to stop watching Doctor Who, it's perfectly acceptable to do that. You've kind of seen the hero's journey completed. If you just are ready to tune out, you've seen the Doctor get an actual proper ending. Whereas if you want, you can keep going. It really is like it's become a Which Way book or a choose your own adventure. I really think the bi-generation makes Doctor Who like a choose your own adventure here. If you choose to believe JLBWHO is the Doctor, you can follow that way and watch him. If you choose to believe the 14th Doctor is the Doctor, you can choose to stop and end there. Of course, if you choose that they're both the Doctor, which I do, you can also continue to watch and keep an eye out in case 14 pops back up. But it's up to you. It's a Which Way book. You get to decide. And I think if that's something Russell did purposely, I do think that's kind of a stroke of genius. You're actually giving people who aren't happy with where the series is, or who aren't happy with what Doctor Who's become, you're giving them closure. It might not be the closure they want, but you are giving them some form of closure, and you're giving them a free pass to step away, to step out. And I think that's pretty neat. I think it's neat that people have this moment that's been prepared for them, where if they want to leave, if they want to duck out, because I would imagine Russell doesn't want people not enjoying the show to be there. I mean, if I went up to Russell T Davies and said, I don't like what Doctor Who is now, I don't like where it's going, I don't like what it's done, I don't like some of the decisions you've made, I could see him. I mean, I don't know, from some of his responses, he might not be very polite, but let's say in an idealistic world, he might say, well, then don't watch. I don't want you to watch. If you don't like what Doctor Who is now, then I would prefer you not watch it. So maybe that's what he's trying to do here. He's giving people who don't like the current state of Doctor Who an opportunity to leave. Because why would he want people not enjoying the show to be there? So he's basically giving them an out. And I don't know. If that's the case, then I kind of think that's just a stroke of genius. It's not what I would have done. But, I have to understand that Doctor Who isn't going to be classic Doctor Who anymore. It's just not. That's just how it is. So I'm curious on your thoughts on this and what you think about it, and whether or not I've articulated the point the way I wanted to. Anyway, I would like to know your thoughts on that, so don't forget to comment down below. I also have a P.O. box. If there's anything you'd like to send me to look at and review, that is down there. A link to my Amazon wish list is down there. A link to my Amazon UK wish list is down there in case there's anything you'd like to send me to look at and review, Doctor Who related or otherwise. A link to my Patreon is also down there if you would like to support me that way. That does make a big difference and is certainly appreciated. I want to give a shout out to some of my top tier patrons, Stephen Crane, Colin Coney, and Finn Perkins. I appreciate their support, as I do the support of all of my patrons and all of my YouTube members. YouTube memberships are also available. Most importantly, thank you for watching.